everybody is fine and safe in condition of the COVID. So today the topic we are going to discuss that is behavior change communication and that we use in our daily life. So I believe this is a good topic that we can discuss with each other to understand in better way. So agenda of this presentation is that what is communication and we are going to learn about how we can improve our skills and why communication is important in our life, in our personality, in our health, or in our daily routine. So my question here comes that what do you understand about the communication or what do you expect from this discussion? And I want your name first and can you describe in one sentence about today's topic? So that's good. I like your answers. And now we go to the topic and what is communication. So communication is basically it is transform of idea from one person to another person. Either they are in a group, either you are sitting in social meetings or gatherings. So what happens when we talk to somebody and there are two people, even they're talking, so they have some kind of message, and we process that message using different kind of channels. Here we see the picture, and if suppose I am a sender and I am talking to you, so what happens is that when I'm talking, so I have some kind of message, and that message either I'm going to use through using different kind of channels. It could be cell phone, either I can use direct message, either I can write a text message. So I use different kind of channels to transform that message to the person to whom I want to receive that message. So here comes the communication completes when the person that I want to send that message, it should be conveyed properly. If it is not conveyed properly, then it would be bad communication. The feedback that comes in a wrong way. For example, I say that this is a bird. If the picture shows that this is a bird, but the person that receives the message and it says no, it's kind of another animal, or it could be it says that there is another picture. So it is not a proper communication. There are different types of communication. So in this, we can say that we use in day-to-day life, that is verbal communication and non-verbal communication. The difference between the verbal communication and non-verbal communication is that in verbal communication we use tone, we use written text messages, or if you see any signboards on the streets or in your book reading, so it is kind of a verbal communication. On the other hand side, the non-verbal communication, that is just like we see the color. So we take example of red color. So if we see the color of signal and our mind, and it gives a message that it is kind of a danger. If we cross a signal, that there could be accident. On the other hand side, the same color, if we take in a condition of the flower, so it is a symbol of the peace or love or care. So there are different types of communication that we use, and we have to identify that what it gives us a message. According to the studies, the most used language that is it is nonverbal communication. So there are different factors involved in that one. So it could be just like many people they don't have time, or the industries or business persons, or in our daily routine when we use the communication, we don't have that much energy. We are busy. Everybody is going. Even you kids, just like today as I'm teaching you in the class. So sometimes you are busy in certain things and what you do, and you don't have energy, or you're not in a good mood. So you give the sign language or gestures to other persons. So that comes in non-verbal communication. So the percentage here that I got, that is 35% to adults versus 65%, but few studies they even tell about the non-verbal use that is above 95%. Here is the example of the emotional character, and if you, this is kind of activity, and I want you to see that if we say that what kind of the communication is, can anybody tell me about the first picture and the last corner picture, what it tells? Yeah, that's right. The first picture it shows about the
Sorry,
happiness.
sorry, ma'am. What is your question? And we cannot listen proper way. Your voice is, it's not clear.
My
Yes.
voice is not clear. Oh, so sorry.
The first
So might be
picture
the
and
headphone
last
problem.
picture. What was your question, please?
That first picture out of these six pictures, if you see in the first picture, there is a gesture, a person's emotion.
Yeah,
So,
he is happy, very much happy.
yeah, it is very good, very perfect. So it is perfect answer. But if I ask you about the happiness, so in today, what kind of out of these emotions, which emotion would you prefer?
I think every time we are angry, stressed, lazy.
Yeah, it could be. So there are different. The main purpose of these pictures are just like we were discussing before. It's a verbal and non-verbal communication. So these pictures, even though we are not talking, we are not telling about through the text message, but still this picture is telling you something. So first picture shows about happiness. Second picture it is kind of angerness. Third picture is kind of surprise. Fourth is kind of excitement. Fifth one is also sad. And last one is kind of aggressiveness or might be excitement. So these are kind of emotions or gestures, or we say that is a non-verbal communication that we were discussing before that for communication, we don't need all the time verbal communication type, but these picture and we use daily in daily life, these kind of communication style. So here again, we are going to discuss few differences between the verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So what happens with verbal communication and it's a kind of formal and mostly in the schools or sometimes when we are talking to the elders, we have to be careful or sometimes we are in the schools or offices. So we use verbal communication as compared to that one, non-verbal is informal when we are sitting with a friends, we are sitting just like in ourselves or just like we don't care about anything else and we try to use that one, or sometimes it's like we don't have a time limitation is there or cost limitation is that, then we are going to use non-verbal communication. The impact of the message is just like when we use verbal communication, we have kind of a proof and we have written thing and whatever we see, we have a recordings as well. So it is kind of documented as compared to the non-verbal, it has side effect and sometimes we don't get these kind of authentic proofs as well. Communication is in verbal communication, you have one sentence to describe, but for the other hand side, as we saw the picture and it was I was showing, so might be you are getting that the person is unhappy or I need to describe more and more, it takes more time as well. And there are different type of ways to communicate for verbal communication. We use letters or kind of writing methods, or sometimes we are using tone or could be faxes or these kind of methods we use for verbal communication. For non-verbal communication, there are body postures. For example, I am talking, either I am rude, either I am polite, either my gestures, my face is showing some kind of aggressiveness, eye contact as well. So these kind of things are showing, or sometimes we are using color scheme or thumbs up, and these kind of activities are non-verbal communication. These are sign languages. So in the last, the point comes that is a transparency status, and that is the verbal communication is precise and concise, whereas non-verbal communication is complex and sometimes. So this is all about verbal and non-verbal communication. And if you have any question, you can ask me at any time. But the point is, you have to raise before asking any question. Um, yeah. Now comes that. What do you see in this picture at first sight?
Um, I see there's one old lady and she's thinking, she's sad, she's poor, she is careless about herself. Yeah.
Yes, that's good. That is one side of the picture. Any other idea behind this picture? In this same picture, we have a dual face, and if we see from the nose side, it is a chin of a young lady, and it goes up, and there is another face. So if we say, let me put a note, and yeah. So if we see this is a girl, do you get it?
No.
Here comes the face, and this is her ear. Then these are her hairs, and this is the head of that girl, and this is the neck of that girl. Did you get it?
Okay.
So the main purpose of this sharing this picture is to think positively, and the second point is that every person has different perspective. So when we talk to somebody, might be they're going to agree or disagree, but we have to see both aspects of the communication, what it could be, and then analyzing that what could be the better communication and what decision I have to take. I hope this would be clear. Now we go to our, okay, next point, that is a barriers to communication, that when we are discussing to somebody, then what are the point that other person to whom I'm sending the message or we are talking to, and he or she is not interested to listen our point. The first point comes at dissatisfaction and disinterest to one's job. So, for example, I am talking to my mother and she is busy while cooking, and she is just like, and you're talking to her that, mommy, listen about my school, or can you help me about my assignments, or my friend is just like bothering me, or something else, that when you are talking to your mom. The thing is just like when she's a busy and she has her full efforts on cooking or do some task, that she will not get your point, even though she is listening. So she is listening, but she will not understand your perspective. एक second, अन्य अरे एक second. Sure. So after that, we are going to discuss about the next topic, that is barriers to communication. So when we discuss with somebody, and what are the points that the other people, they are not going to listen our point, as discussed before, the dissatisfaction or disinterest of this, and that example was a mother and child example. Second could be the trust, and somebody and who is a stranger, and I'm going on a road, and somebody, and I'm asking for help. So what happens, that person to whom you are looking for help, they are not going to help you. Might be they are scared about the stranger you are to him, or it could be the reason that they don't know, or sometimes it happens that they had previous experiences, so they cannot help. So for that, what happens, communication is the main point, that to build that relationship, to create that trust, so that the other person who gets to know us and becomes ready to listen us. The third point comes the communication style, the way we speak to other person. It could be our body language. The body language could be just like if I'm talking to somebody and it shows that I'm kind of rude, or my tone of the language when I'm talking and it's kind of so loud, the person couldn't understand your point, or it is too loud that that is disturbing that person, the gestures, the facial expressions. That means that if I'm talking in my face and that's not just like showing the normal expressions, and these are the kind of things that when we talk to somebody and these communicate that help us to communicate our message. The fourth point comes, that is the cultural differences in languages, that when we are talking to somebody and there is always a diversity. So few people, they have their own norms, they could have their own religion, they could have their own parameters. So when we talk to somebody, we have to be, and in this example, the best example comes that when in our cultures it happens that we say that when we talk to our elders and we should show the respect, the language we should use, that should be just like it's kind of respecting, it should be full sentence, it should be in a proper way spoken. So these are the things that we have to think before communication. The last point that is the most important, that we listen from the beginning. What is the importance of the listening? Listening matters a lot in communication. Whatever we hear, we communicate in that way. If we listen in just like a speedy way, then we are going to speak in a speedy way. Or whatever we are listening. There are 2 points. These are mixed up. In listening, mostly we are confused about hearing and listening, but there is a lot of difference. Hearing is kind of when you are listening, hearing from you're hearing many voices. It could be a car voice, it could be a noise, it could be other person, 2 or 3 person are talking together. So you are taking all noise in your head. As compared to that one, listening is kind of, you need concentration, you listen with a proper attention, and it needs kind of a calm area to talk and communicate with each other. So these are the points that when we communicate, and we have to keep in mind, so that our communication, the message we want to forward to other person, and it should be communicated in the proper way. Now, here is another activity that I want to guys think about these pictures, and think about that how you are going to plan. And as we discuss about the batches of the communication, so if you have kind of a plan, and what barriers you can face in this. Taking this example, you have a plan and you have to see the barriers that come in that plan, and what would be your solution to that one to arrive to your target. So now I will describe few points as we discussed about the barriers to communication, different communication styles as well. What are the successful tips that can be helpful to communicate properly? That the first point comes that your communication, when we are talking to, it should be clear. What I want to say, it should be clear that this is the point and I should focus on that point while talking, and it should be precise, it should be concise. The place where I'm talking, it should be calm. There shouldn't be any distraction between the people to whom I'm speaking, so that the message they are getting and nothing can disrupt to their message and receiving that and giving me a proper feedback. Third is a method of transformation. Is just like it could be what method I'm using. Either I'm going to use a direct approach, it could be face-to-face communication. It could be just like I use any method kind of texting, either emailing or any mass media publicity, different kind of methods we use, or sign language. So what kind of the method where I should have a clarity about these points. Fourth point also includes the language and the technical expertise, that when I am talking to somebody, that I have to keep in mind the other person who is going to get this message, either he or she is able to understand the message or not. Either she has the same language, or might be she has a problem, a technical problem to understand and solve the problem or message. So along with these 4 points, last point is the feedback. Why we talk about all about clarity, about location, method, and language, because we are concerned about the feedback. All the efforts we are doing that I have to talk, I have a message, I have formatted message, and I'm talking to a person is because I want that the message I'm going to throw on other person, it should be clear. And whatever I'm going to tell him or her, it should be as it is as I want to be. So for that successful feedback, positive feedback, I have to make all these efforts to take care of all these things so that I get advantage of this communication process. After this, here we have picture of the example, and I want you to analyze that out of these glasses, what you get, what these glasses show you, if you have any kind of situation and how you will solve it.
I see that there are two situations. One, in a problems, if some situation problem comes, then one person with the positive thought, with the positivity, with the patience, he's solving the problem. But another, in a stress, um, he's under depression or something.
Yeah, you're very right. So this picture is the theme of this picture is actually we have in our daily routine different kinds of personalities. So few people they know about themselves and they know how to deal with that problem or that situation. So the right side shows that they know how to float or just like how to cross the situation. The other people they don't know how they should behave in that situation and they got trouble. The reason could be there are any stress. It could be might be could be that they don't know how to deal it or they don't have that much confidence. So that they get involved in these kind of problems and they go into and for that they might get any kind of health issues, they might get any losses in their life, or they might get social distances from the society as well. The second picture, in the same way, I would describe that before, as we saying that communication is that what you look at and you have to analyze that either is a positive or negative. So this is also the picture that shows that there are two people and they have the same point, but the perspective is different. The first person and on the left and he sees the four bars, but on the other hand side, if you see and the person sees three, we cannot say that just like it's a wrong perspective because they are on the different situation. They could be in their own limitations. They could be in their own cultures. So they both are right. For that, we have to understand what is the situation and what could be the circumstances as well. So now we move to the last, that is that last point is why communication skills are important. So linking everything, whatever we covered before, so communication skills are important so that we can pass a successful life. If we are good in communication, we respect others, we would have a sense of togetherness. It could we can get a support from other people. We will have a bonding family as well, and we will be positive. So these all point will help you, and when we are happy inside, so we can share that thing to others as well, and we create the sense of positivity as well. The second thing in the last it is like self communication improves the self-efficacy, that when we know about the right and wrong, then individuals believe that they are capable to do anything. They have a quick decision making. They know how to control their emotions. So these help somebody because they know that how to express in a positive way and whatever the wrong thing is, and they control to that point. So in this way, This is all about the presentation topic that when we communicate with somebody and with someone else, so communication matters a lot because we are the person first, and we have to take care of our own thoughts and communication skills so that we can get a better results in the future in our daily life as well. So further, I'm not going to discuss. These are the points that when we have a better communication, it can result in the quick problem solving, decision making, more productivity. So all of them examples are the same that we discussed before. I hope you got from this lecture, and if you have still any question, you can ask me. And I want you to make any situation and try to make a case study in your life and try to be polite with everybody so that you get a chance to get respect and create a bond of care. I wish you all the best, and I'm ending with this topic. Thank you so much.